Hi everyone, it's Miles here at Teach Me Music Academy, and today we're going to be learning about reading musical patterns. So, when you read sheet music, it's not all about looking at the note you're reading and figuring out which note it is, i.e., your alphabetical letters. That's an A, and then that's a C sharp. It's quite slow doing it that way. If you come across a pattern, it's much easier to just read the pattern. For example, this pattern goes up, this pattern goes down. And we're going to talk about the different patterns involved in reading music. And this is a good place to start practicing because, like I said, it's a lot easier to read a pattern than it is to read each individual note. So here's our treble clef. And we can have line notes and we can have space notes. Now, a line note, as you can see, the line goes through the note head. The note head is actually the little dot there. And then you have the stick coming up from that dot, and that's what we call the stem. So we have note head and a stem. Now, a space note looks like this. And the space note has the note head in between the lines. So, this is going to be really important. Stay with me. So let's have a look at reading different types of patterns then on the lines and the spaces. So have a look at this pattern here. So this is 3 notes on a line. Because they're all on the line, they're actually the same note. So for example, let's say that's C. That would be just be the same note 3 times. And this one is 3 notes on a space. So that would be the same note 3 times. Now, what if we want to go up or down, right? Most melodies don't just stay on one note the whole time, do they? So as you see, the first note starts on a line, and the second note drops down to the very next space, and the next note drops down to the very next line. So the very next note down from the first note, which is on a line, is not the next line, it's the next space down. So it always goes line, space, line, space, line, space, like that. So this pattern, we start on the first note. For example, let's say it was C again. Then the next note would be 1 note down, and the next note would be 1 note down again. So that's a downwards pattern then. And then check this one out. So this one is an upwards pattern. So it starts on a space, then the next note is on the next line up, then the next note is on the next space up, right? Space, line, space. It always alternates like that. So again, let's say the first note is a C. It would go like this. Just straight up from C. Okay, let's have a look at the next example then. So now this one alternates. Right, it starts on a line, it drops down to the space below, and then it goes back up to a line. So this one goes down, up. Now, we'll call this a step. So if you're only going down or up by 1 note, we call that a step. So for this one, we'd say step down, step up. So for example, again, let's start on C. Say the first note is C. You go step down, step up. So you return back to C. Okay. As well as steps, we also have skips. So as you see on this one, we start on a line, you go up to the next line, and back down to the first line. So remember what I said about steps? That it always goes line, space, and that would be the very next note. What we're doing here is we're starting on the first line, we're missing the next note up, which would be in the space, and we're skipping straight to the line note. So that looks like this. Say the first note is a C, we'd go skip this note, that's a skip up, and then skip this note again to skip down, right? So that would be skip up, skip down. Now finally, we have a mixture of steps and skips. So this one it steps down by one note and then it skips up. So again, if we started on C, this is what this would look like. C, step down, skip up. Yep. Step down, skip up. Great, so that is a really good start if you want to practice the basic skills of reading music. You don't even need to know all the note names on the clef to be able to do this. It's literally just reading patterns on lines and spaces, and that's a really, really, really good start. So, I hope you learned a lot from this video. I hope it gives you something to practice, and I'll see you in another one. Cheers, guys.